Dear students, in this session we are going to see the use of getter and setter functions in Java. Okay, so before that, you know what is meant by encapsulation. So encapsulation is nothing but wrapping of data members and function members inside the class. So when you encapsulate the data members and function member inside the class, you need to access it. Okay, so for that we have some concept called as data abstraction and data hiding. So that will help you, or that will tell you how the data should be protected with different levels. So in order to access the data in different levels, we are specifying some access specifiers. Okay, so access specifiers, or we are having some protection level. So in order to do that protection level, Java supports 4 different levels of access specifiers. First one is private, and next one is public, and then we are having the protected, and the last one is default. Okay, there are 4 different access level specifiers. One is private, public, protected, and default. So now I am going to declare the data members. So int L. Then I am going to use with private B. Private int B. Then I am going to use with public int C. Then I am going with protected int D. So how these will be used in different levels. Okay, suppose if you are not specifying any access specifiers, then the level of access specifier for this variable is default. So default means it like public, but used within the same package. Okay, within the same package. So if I have created this variable L here, it can be used in the class sample. Both classes are available in the same package. So it will be acting like a public variable, but it can be used within the same package. Then you know about private. Private means it cannot access outside of the class. So only within the class you can use this private member. And public, access anywhere. So access anywhere. And protected, it will be used only in the inheritance. If a particular variable is created in the base class, it will be used only in the derived class. Okay. So these are the different levels of access specifiers. So as you know that default will be acting like a public, so it can be accessed within the same package. Private members cannot access outside, and public members can be accessed anywhere. Protected is mainly used with inheritance concept. Okay, so now what we are going to do is I am going to create an object for the box class, new box. So I am going to access b dot. So if you see here, only the b value, the integer b, whatever I declared as private, that variable is not visible outside of the class because it is a private variable. Remaining all variables I can access. So now I am using with b dot l. So b dot l is my default access specifier. Then I am going to use with b dot c. So that is my public variable. So these two I can access outside of the class. So initially I am assigning some value to that. So b dot l is equal to 10 and b dot c is equal to 20. So I can access the default data member outside of the class because it will be visible within the same package. Public members, it can be accessed outside anywhere else. Private, it cannot be accessed outside of the class, and protected is mainly used with inheritance concept. So now I run the program. So I got the value of the L and C, that is my default data member and the public data member. Okay, so just I want to check whether I can able to access my private member. Okay, my private member actually I have declared as B. Okay, my private member is declared as B, so it is telling the field box dot B is not visible. The reason it is a private member, so the private members cannot be accessed outside. Okay, so what we can do to access that private member outside of the class? So Java support a functionality called as getter and setter functions. So by using getter and setter function, the private members, you can create some public getter and setter access properties. By using that, you can access that private members through these getter and setter. Okay, so through the getter and setter functions, you can access these private members outside of the class. So there are two ways to create a getter and setter. The first way is, so I can make my cursor near to that variable, okay, near to that private variable, and then I am pressing with Alt Shift S R. Okay, so I am pressing with Alt Shift S R. So I know that who is my private variable. So my private variable is B. Okay, so for my private variable, I need to create a getter and setter, which should be a public function. So by using that getter and setter function, I can able to access my private variable outside of the class. So getter and setter. So both are public. So I am going to generate it. Okay. So this is the first way. The first way you can press with Alt, Shift, then yes, then followed by R. So if you use this, so automatically your getter and setter functions will be created. So getter means you will get the value, setter means you will set the value to the particular private variable. So I want to use it now. So I am coming here in my main program. So I am going to use the setter first because I want to set the value. So I want to set the value for that private variable. So in order to set the value, use the function called as setB. Okay, so setB, I pass some value. So it will assign the value to that private member B. Then I want to get it back. So I have to use with sout B dot get B. Okay, B dot get B. So this is acting my setter and this is acting my getter. So this setter function helps to set the value for that private variable B, and this getter function used to get the value from the private variable B. So now you run it. So you will get the value for the variable. So it is set and it is get. Okay, so it is set the value and this step it is getting the value. This is one of the way to create a getter and setter for the private variable. And the second way, okay, the second way how to create it. The second way is you can, so suppose I declare another one variable, okay, I declare another one private variable integer f. So for this variable, I want to create a getter and setter. So I am using a second method, second way of creating the getter and setter. So how to do it? Just I type get, okay, then I press Control space. So it is coming. So for which function I want to create the getter now? Get for the private member f. Okay, got it. And now I want to set it. So I have to again write set Control space. So it is asking for which private variable you want to use the setter method. So set f. So both the variables I got set. So what you have to do? Type get set, then press Control plus space. Okay, then press Control space. You will get the getter functions code automatically and setter function code automatically. Okay, so now you try to use it here. So I want to set the value of f. Set the value of f. So I am setting with 500, that's a private member. And then I want to use with get. So I want to use with b dot get yes. Okay, so getter and setter for the private members. You run the program, so you are getting with the value 500. Okay, so private members you cannot access outside of the class. So to make it use outside of the class, you will create a public functions called getter and setter. So setter will set the value to that private variable, getter will get the value from the private variable. So in order to create that, we can either use the first method by pressing Alt Shift plus S, continue with R, or you can type the keyword get or set, then press Ctrl space, then automatically the code will be integrated inside your Eclipse environment. Thank you.